We are back. New format, new design, right? Um, the only thing is, I have to move this every single time because if I do not, it's gonna be messing with this. Okay, ready? All right. Official test start time 2 minutes. We're gonna bring this back to the beginning because this is gonna be the introduction to today's class. Give me one quick second. Let's program this. Don't worry, it has a lot of insights that you guys can use for your finals. 5 pages, 5 paragraphs each, 5 sentences each paragraph, 5 words per sentence minimum, 5 computer spaces in between, 5 revisions, show the work. You're able to use your hyper scientific, you're able to use technology, but you must show the work and share with your team. Let's bring this back from the beginning, and I hope that you guys enjoy. This is in your finals. The name of today's design is World Peace. Forever.
Hawaii rises from the heart of the Pacific like a string of volcanic jewels, wild, untamed, impossibly beautiful. Here, black lava cliffs tumble into turquoise seas, rainforests breathe with ancient stillness, and the islands hum with the quiet power of fire, water, and time. Waves roll across the north shore, their glassy faces folding into perfect barrels beneath the tropical sun. Waterfalls carve down jungle clad valleys, their mist drifting through canopies of ferns and palms, while hidden beaches curve along the shore, kissed by salt air and golden light. Volcanoes smolder beneath the clouds, their craters etched into the land like forgotten scars, glowing softly beneath star filled skies. The scent of plumeria and rain clings to the breeze, and the sound of slack key guitar drips through the islands like a lullaby from another world. Hawaii doesn't ask you to chase it. It holds you raw, ancient, wrapped in salt, fire, and the quiet, untamed spirit of the Pacific.
World peace forever. This is the MR3, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to sell my entire collection just to produce this vehicle. Taking deposits as we speak. Amazing, beautiful machine. A car that's extremely fun to drive. That's what a super hyper sports car should be. A lot of the new cars are fast, but they're no longer fun to drive. I'm not interested in those cars. I'm no longer interested in my car being the fastest car in the world, but I do want it to be the most fun eternally. All my cars have my entire music catalog inside of them. You can only start the car with the NFT. Powertrain is modular, so you could build it how whatever specifications are available that fit the chassis and produce the best amount of balance and power. Um, this is amazing. Very peaceful design. That's all I wanted it to be. It was just peaceful. That was the whole point. It's an amazing opportunity, man. This is going to be an amazing machine. It's going to be affordable. Everybody could build it, or they could buy it built from us at the company. It's going to be amazing to give props to those cars that deserve their props. Those old engines that everybody forgot about. They forgot how amazing those engines really were back in those times. We're talking around 85 to 95. I think the best in the golden era. I don't think automobiles will ever be able to surpass that. We could come close, but there's a lot of amazing special things that those vehicles had during their time frame. Those were very special cars. They changed automotive history forever, and they deserve to be, you know, accredited, written about, taught about in universities for free. Even here, teaching this master class, you know what I mean? Absolutely for
Waikiki
free.
Beach curves
This is
along
the
the
best
edge,
way that I could
Honolulu,
coach you
like a sunlit
or
invitation.
that I could advise
Golden
you.
sand, endless surf, and the
Always
hum
doing
of
something
island life
productive, you know
wrapped
what I
in
mean?
salt air and soft breeze. The
Always doing
waves
something
roll in,
productive,
steady and blue,
constructive,
their rhythm
positivity,
carrying surfers, swimmers,
putting out
and
love into the
paddlers
world,
beneath the
positive
towering
energy,
silhouette of
and
Diamond Head
living off the
watching
energy
from
that
afar.
returns, you know what I
Along
mean?
the beachfront, high-rise hotels rise above the palms, their balconies stacked like quiet observatories facing the endless Pacific. The scent of
This is a
sunscreen,
beautiful
salt,
design. It's
and grilled
simple.
seafood
It's not
curls through the
forced.
air as beach bars hum.
I don't want to do
Music
too
and the
much to
soft
it.
clink of glasses carried by the
That's what happens
breeze
with other
pound on
designs.
the water.
We just want to make
Sailboats drift
improvements and do
across the
this and do
horizon,
that,
their
and we
sails etched
lose
against a sky that
the
melts
essence. You know
blue
what
to
I mean?
gold as the day fades. The
This is a
shoreline
machine
glows
right
in the
here,
evening
B.
light,
This
and the
car is
scene
gonna
behind it flickers to life,
reach its top
wrapped
speed
in soft
in a way
neon
that
and
is very
island
fun.
rhythm.
You know what I mean?
Waikiki doesn't chase attention. It offers escape, graceful, iconic, impossibly alive, where the surf hums, the palms
Beautiful
sway,
machine.
and the world slows to the rhythm of the waves.
Thing about this design is you got to put the intake on both sides so you can understand the shape and what's going on with the wind. As the vehicle is traveling through the wind, what is it doing? What is it really doing? And are we understanding what the vehicle is doing? You know what I mean? If it's not fun to drive, then what's the point? You know what I mean? If it's not fun to drive, then what's the point? It's an amazing design. Very beautiful design. The removable top has the extension for the intakes and it comes off. When you install it, they connect back to all of the other intakes. And it has carbon fiber wheels. Beautiful design. Very peaceful. Oh, but I have to be careful. You know what? I just forgot. We have to immediately do that because if not, they will give us a copyright strike and we will have to debate it and explain to them that this is for educational purposes only. And we make sure that, for example, every time that we go live, we select education. We pick our own thumbnail. So it's not generated by a system that can be controlled. You know what I mean? So when we connect with our fan base, we really connect with our fan base. This is a very beautiful design. Very beautiful design. Doesn't need to be the most powerful car, just needs to be the most fun. Has to have a balance. This is why it's going to be modular as well, because this way we can give you options like 4-cylinder, rear wheel drive. We could even build a front engine version, but then it would be a sleeper. It would be for a different class. But we could actually put an engine in the front. And wow, that would be a new concept right there. That would be like combining the Integra and the MR2 to build an NSX, basically. Understanding what it would take to be able to engineer something like that, where it's still affordable, If a car is within reach, it makes the difference. If a car is just so expensive that you can't even aspire to own it, is like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose? Everybody should be able to have that automotive experience when they invest into a vehicle. Even if they have a fleet of already exotic vehicles, you need a custom vehicle. You need something that you could design just to have fun and know that it's a custom vehicle built and designed and engineered for you. You know what I mean? That's what I want my company to do. All custom vehicles. You know what I'm saying? Everything like a custom design, its own unique everything. You know what I mean? Every person deserves to have that experience. That's going to be the same philosophy in everything that I design and develop. Whether it's wearable technology, clothing, the toy line is educational. Um, the video game system is going to be crazy. Wait till the video game system comes out. Everybody's waiting for me to release an album, and I'm like, nah, it's not an album anymore. It's the video game that's about to come out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be competing against some of the best, and may the best video game design win. That's it. I want to design a video game system that's modular, that it can be upgraded in real time, so that if you need another component and it comes out, it's able to be backwards compatible. You know what I mean? The ultimate video game system, portable and rechargeable. Beautiful machine. And you can build your own vehicles on it. You can upload existing models. You could put almost anything in my simulator and be able to get real data points based on the real known data on each vehicle design. So if you're creating content or if you're going to school for art, this is going to be excellent for you because this is engineering from a standpoint where it's still fun. You know what I mean? Look at this beautiful vehicle. Look at this beautiful vehicle. Amazing. Fast, removable top. It's just a vehicle for you to have fun. You know what I mean? And we were able to basically build an amazing design just by using our inspiration and our imagination. Um, I like the intro and I like this format because you guys got to hear about a landmark. Now let's go to Tahiti. Give it one quick second. And VaynerMedia Hydration Challenge is on. Very nice. Create success. Okay. Let's see if it does the intro.
Tahiti floats in the heart of the South Pacific like a whispered dream, lush, volcanic, impossibly blue. Its green peaks rise sharp and proud from the sea, wrapped in jungle and mist, their slopes folding into black sand beaches and hidden coves where the waves hum with quiet rhythm. The scent of salt and frangipani drifts through the air as waterfalls tumble from the mountains, their silver threads vanishing into deep valleys tangled with palms and ancient ferns. Along the coast, villages glow with color, thatched roofs, bright flowers, and the steady hum of island life untouched by rush or time. The
Invite
lagoons
Shorty.
stretch wide,
Bring
their
out the
waters
prototype.
shifting
Come
from
on, let's just go
turquoise
for a
to deep
cruise.
sapphire,
I want to
where
build a
reef
racetrack
sharks
right
glide
there.
beneath the surface and coral
That's
gardens
my
bloom
next real
beneath
estate
the sun.
investment right there.
Out beyond
Build
the
a
reef,
racetrack right
the
there.
ocean rolls endless and wild, carrying the pulse of the island
All that real
toward
estate
distant
coming off the
horizons.
mountain, develop all
Tahiti
of it.
doesn't try to be perfect.
Everything tourist.
It simply is
Everything
raw,
for the
graceful,
tourists.
wrapped in sea breeze, island
Internet
spirit,
cafes
and the
everywhere,
quiet
chill spots,
magic
book clubs,
paradise that refuses
restaurants,
to be tamed.
retail, electronics, car dealerships, real estate. You know what I mean? Petroleum, gas stations, you know what I mean? Do everything, invest in everything. That, that's a piece of real estate any portfolio will be proud of. That's an excellent real estate portfolio piece. That entire village looks like a painting. It looks like a masterpiece of art. And that's in real life. Yo, look at these beaches, yo. Shout out to Mauricio Ruiz. The exec that he had on there is the manager of the year with the beaches in Canada. In Canada. See that space right there? I will build a racetrack right there. Beautiful racetrack. Oh, look at the real estate opportunities. Come on now. I'll build an amazing highway right there. That'll be the racetrack. Businesses everywhere. Everything nice. Very nice. Excellent construction. Equip all of these demographics with nothing but technology. You know? Also, remember after the intro, we have to lower it because if not, they will copyright strike it. So we'll leave it as low as possible. And if a commercial comes, I'll press forward. But today, we had a battle royale looking at a marketing standpoint with the campaign that is being ran by Ferrari. Now, you guys know I'm an authorized Ferrari dealer and distributor, right? I'm a multiple franchise owner. This is something that even on the corporate level, we have no idea what the marketing department is going to do. So this is a completely brand new project. So look how many authorized interviews and reviews of the vehicle were released. The number one is Chris Harris's. I have to say that. It's already been like a few days in a row, but for people in communications and media, we've probably known for a few months. You know what I'm saying? So that gives you an idea. Everything that you see being displayed is basically um it's like introducing a new product and a new service in a completely brand new industry. It's like opening up whatnot right now and auctioning off that painting right now. Like technology allows you to do that. Only technology allows you to do that. So it's just an amazing thing. Think about it for design. Think about it for production. You could use this module and be inspired by it. You can design something that uniquely resembles the beauty, the peace, the calm, the serenity of developing real estate like that. You, as an investor, as a person trying to move up in corporate America, should be inspired by that and should be aiming to develop this kind of real estate. If I'm going to develop real estate, it's going to be in places like this where everything is beautiful. Why would I develop real estate anywhere else? I don't understand. People are so fixated on a certain type of real estate. I did real estate so many years ago that now, at this age of maturity, if I was to invest in real estate, it would have to be in a place like this. This is quality of life. This is not just business. This is a place where you raise a family. There's a complete difference. Complete difference. Look at those waves. You telling me I could surf in those waves by myself? Come on now, and put a whole bunch of businesses, all the people that surf, all I have to do is show them those waves. Get in those waves using my surfboard. It's game over. It's game over. Look how beautiful that landscape is. And all I see is potential for development. Business opportunities infused with technology. Um, just to better everything. Just improve everything. Make everything better. Whatever we can make better, make better. You know, the t-shirts we're gonna have different designs. Some are gonna be big graphics, some are gonna be small graphic. They're all gonna be different, and each one has an NFT, and you can only purchase them from me. You can only go to my LinkedIn is my business website. What's the number one advice that I have for new entrepreneurs? Create a LinkedIn and start building your career. Once you create a LinkedIn, you know that you are a professional. And if you're not willing to take that professional step, then, you know, there's nothing else to be said. And education is of importance at an all time high. 2025 and beyond, and education is essential for all things in life, period. Technology is the future. Look how beautiful God created the earth to be. This is how it needs to be always. This is what we got to take care of right here. This is the real prize. This is what God really made for all of us. So now with technology, we can make sure that we do the best when it comes to those things that God already made. All we need to do is improve them however we can with the little bit of understanding and knowledge that we actually have. Every day is a new day. Be willing to learn every day. Be malleable as gold. Be coachable. The only dumb and stupid question is the dumb and stupid question that you don't ask. The only thing you're guaranteed to fail at is everything that you don't try to do. Try to invest in a business. Try to build credit. Try to be responsible. Try to be clear, honest, transparent. Try to have directive. Try to build trust. Try to invest. Try to work harder every single day. All positive things. Every single day, something positive. Every single day, something good. Every single day, continuing. One of the best things that I could do is be a consultant and give advice. I've done it for so many years. I've made so many millionaires. Maybe people that didn't deserve it. Now I am surrounded by people that deserve to learn how you actually become an entrepreneur, what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to be a philanthropist, what it means to give back beyond whatever your dreams are. You got to process that. You got to process that. My family thinks that I became a doctor for them. They really thought me getting my education was about them. They thought me becoming a lawyer or an engineer or an architect, a design or a designer, you know, working on so many different facets of technology. They thought that those things were uh, to attain their approval or their understanding or their support or their love or their understanding. I don't need any of those things. The only person that needs to understand my heart is God. That's it. Life is what you make it out to be. Dreams come true. Life shows you that every single day. When I see beautiful real estate like this, I think about God. That's my, connection to the highest power. You know what I mean? I see nothing but potential, nothing but opportunities, nothing but elements that are of positivity. I don't see anything else. Potential for the future, getting an education, investing in technology, not thinking twice because you are of Hispanic descent or if you're an immigrant. It doesn't matter. I'm an immigrant. Everybody in the universe is an immigrant. We don't come from this planet. We don't come from this universe. We come from God. That is far greater and beyond than anything you can imagine. There's nothing more that needs to be said. I am that I am. Now I understand what God meant when He said that. Now it makes sense. Technology is the future, and education is the future. Investing in yourself, in your future, your education, beyond what people say, what people think, what people want to do, the box they want to put you in. You keep going to school and you keep educating yourself. And one day that education is going to pay off and it's going to be you on the beautiful islands enjoying your hyper supercars like I do with my loved ones, the people that deserve it, not the people that don't deserve it. The people in my life, not the people outside of my life. It's an open door. I no longer have to push people through it. Just like my students, I tell you guys, you know how you make me proud? Go intern at one of the top Fortune 500 companies. Go help as many people as you can, learn as much as you can. And when you master all of those systems, go into business for yourself and believe in yourself, because we're going to be rooting for you. Because we know that we're going to give you the best that we could give you so that you could be successful in anything that you undertake in life. And education is so important. Sometimes we make the mistakes to assume that everybody has an education. Everybody does not have an education. Everybody does not understand. Every person's journey is completely different and unique to those people, to that person. We're all universes. Once you understand that, everything is going to make sense. So in business, you have to have the same way of thinking. How can you implement that? Maintaining yourself positive when you're facing and dealing with challenges every single day, whether it's on the personal realm or your professional realm. Why was I mentored by some of the greatest mentors that you can have? They're my superheroes. Everything that they taught me, I get to share with all of you. And then one day, you guys will be teaching the future generation the same key core principles and disciplines and beliefs if you want to be successful, if you want total success, if you want a complete success. These people are charging $5 million, $500,000, $500,000 for coaching and mentoring. I'll do it for a few 100,000 in 1 hour. 1 hour, I would change your life. It's 400,000. How valuable is that hour conversation with me for your future, your product, your service, your industry, your trade, and your brand? How important is that? I own a technology company. You too can own a technology company. This is the future. Whether we want to accept it or not, technology is here. And if technology is at the stage where we could just make everything good with technology, then that's what we're going to do. It's our responsibility, our generation's responsibility. That's our responsibility. That's what we need to do. Make everything the best that we can make it. It's very simple. And education can open doors that are difficult or impossible to open. Only an education can provide you the tools that you're going to need for your future. Most of my children are college bound, out of college, etc. That's it. Real life, the real world is coming. You have to pay taxes. You have to build credit. You have to be responsible. You have to invest. You have to manage your time wisely. You have to know how to do business, regardless of what industry or trade, product or service, wherever life takes you, wherever your dreams take you, fine. You know, again, these are things that you learn with experience. You learn with age. You know, you learn to deal with people. You can only give people but so many chances. I gave my family every single chance to demonstrate to me that they were not children minded, because that's the issue with my family. They're grown-ups that think like little kids. Eventually, you have to make it clear to everyone, I'm not here to play games. It's simple. That's it. Now people have to show and prove that they're really adults, that they really have an education, that they really have a sense and focus of life. I taught them the most valuable lesson: separated myself from my wealth, built my own trust fund, divided it equally amongst everybody. That's what I brought to the table. Now the people that deserve to be where they are where they deserve to be. Simple as that. Simple as that. If I invested the time to pour into my education all these years, busting my ass every single day, making less than minimum wage, running on my prayers to God, nothing but that. That's all I've ever had. Everything I have, God has given to me. Everything I'll ever have, God will always give to me. God is first in everything. You know what I mean? That's number one. Let's get that clear. You feel me? I have to do the best with every blessing and every gift that God has given me. That tells you everything right there. Life has to go on. You have to be coachable. You have to be willing to have these tough conversations within yourself. What is it that you want? What kind of happiness do you want? What kind of retirement do you want? What is your goal? What is it that you want? You want 1,000 cars, or you want 200,000 cars, or you want 2 million cars? How many cars do you want? Pick a number. That's it. Decide it. Put it on your dream board. That's it. Set it and forget it. How many books are you willing to read? How many courses are you willing to take? How hard are you willing to go to better yourself? And you know that it's a pay to play system. You're going to have to go to school. It costs a lot of money. It doesn't have to, but it does. And if you don't want to pay top of the line money, you're going to have to educate yourself. And that's going to require both your time and your money, your consistency every single day. No excuses, no days off. You have a finals, you got to take your finals. You have a study, you do your study. You have a review, you do your review. You have to do research, you do your research. Every single day, you study, you study, you study. You have to build worlds, build models, build prototypes, work on prototypes every single day. Make it better. How can we make it better? Can you fix it? Can you fix it? Yes, we can. Can you make it better? Yes, we can. That's how it works. Every manufacturer was supposed to create a better sports car every single time. When the vehicles started to lose what was the fun out of driving them, they lost me as a consumer. I had to go towards a custom vehicle or custom vehicles and understand what it was to build your own supercar. In my book, I speak about some of the early prototypes when I started my company. I literally poured everything that I could make into building my company. Everything that I could invest into my company, that's all I've ever done my entire life is invest into my own company, into my own technology. Now I'm able to teach this. In the video game, you'll be able to take an educational module and still be able to build it inside of the video game. Game over. People are talking about Street Fighter 6. I'm talking about Street Fighter 6,000. Like a completely different level of a gaming experience. This is why I test my alumni with real world examples. These conversations I have to have with business partners. They may not have the time to meet with me once every few months. Same thing with me. I'm too busy. I got a family, etc. But this is important, not only for your personal and private life, but also for your career. Everybody understands that to attain success, you need a team. The legendary greats had people like a Phil Jackson. You have to think about every person that you are inspired by. Look at the team around them. Do you think The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, will have the career that he has if he wasn't a visionary, if he didn't understand the purpose of the direction that he wanted to take with his life? This is a newfound direction in life. This is a new beginning where everything is positive and everything is amazing. And you don't have to say, I'm going to accept this movie role because it's paying X amount of money and dividends and royalties, etc., because I don't feel comfortable with the way that my character is being portrayed in this film. He can say, all I want to do is superhero shit. And in every movie, he's the good guy. He saves the world. It doesn't matter if it's a, a family movie like a Moana series or if it's an action-packed, type of film. He built his own career by educating himself, by pouring into himself, by being coachable, by asking stupid questions, by making mistakes, by learning and improving and making everything better. And eventually it paid off. He became WWE champion, which my generation is WWF, right? He became everything that he could have done in that industry and he moved on. He followed his true love and passion, which was film. Now he even has funny movies with people such as Kevin Hart, to give you an example. This is equivalent to the marketing component in the opposite equilibrium of Shaquille O'Neal. Look at his brand. Shaquille O'Neal can endorse any product. He can get into any franchise. He could do any business opportunity. After Magic Johnson on the entrepreneurial level, you have to say Shaquille O'Neal. He's a basketball player. This guy has everything from clothing to apparel, sneakers, video games, movies, films. I mean, he's always doing something and always pushing what the boundaries are for any type of creative, whether you're an artist or you're an athlete or you're in some type of entertainment. All of these deals are important for you to understand the business. Why? Because there's so much potential in every facet of technology when it comes to entertainment. So think about the opportunities. What direction would you take as the CEO of this company? What direction would you take this company towards? Those are the tough questions that CEOs, COOs, etc. are going to ask when they're trying to learn new systems, when they're trying to grow, scale, and expand. We spoke about it so much on the Venomar motivation, and we moved on to Voltron. Now we're working on a completely new project, a completely new concept. And we understand the power and the importance of education today more now than ever before. So education is the way. It will be through arts and literature and science and math and engineering and everything else that every person can contribute to, where we will find the understanding to really understand, to be able to really make a difference and really make an impact in a positive way, which is the hardest thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I give you guys as many real life, real world examples so that you guys can understand success takes time. Success leave clues. You know what I'm saying? Success leaves clues. Simple. Now, if you have all these people that you aspire to be, that you're inspired by, and they read all of these amazing and fabulous books, what does that say about you? What do you need to be doing? What you need to be doing is reading those books and understanding what those people that you aspire to be, what did they learn? How did that impact the quality of their lives? Look at LeBron James. He is the perfect example. He came into the game, been professional his entire career. He's had some moments. He's human, just like everybody else. But overall, he's an amazing athlete. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He's an amazing example to follow. He is a brand worth striving for. If you were creating products or services, if you were in different industries, fields, and trades, you would want to study and learn how these companies, corporations, products and services, and brands are able to penetrate the market so efficiently. Some have an unlimited budget, some do not. Some are in regions of the world where other companies don't even exist. Where do you see potential? Where do you see growth in the company? Is it hardware, software? Is it international or national market? Is it a micro design or a macro design? All the decisions go back on the CEO of the company. You have to make those decisions. If you release the wrong product or service at the wrong time in the wrong market, wrong demographic, that investment will be a failure. That could cost you your corporate executive uh, position in the company. If you have a mentality that's uncoachable and it leads for the development of your own business where you still have challenges, then you know what needs to be restructured. You understand the dynamic of that. So it's an amazing thing that is taking place at the same time. Why wouldn't somebody pay $400,000 in an hour to speak to me if they can make $400 million with that knowledge? How valuable is that knowledge? That knowledge is very valuable and it's very expensive. It's expensive to go to school. It's expensive to educate yourself. It's expensive to pursue your dreams. It's a headache to deal with your stupid ass fucking family and your fucking dumbass friends. It's hard to filter out all of the noise in the whole fucking universe and say, listen, I made a commitment, I made an investment, I've invested into this technology. I'm going to follow this through until forever. That's it. I'm focused. New technology comes out. I have to educate myself, a new degree, new diploma. I have to push myself to go educate myself and learn what makes this new development better. Why is it essential? Why is the industry heading in that direction? This is in real time. Most of the people that you may try to be impressing or impress, they don't care about that. They don't see the hard work that you have to put in every day, but you have to make the decisions. You're going to find yourself going to college, building a future, looking for a companion to build a family and a home with, a future with. You're going out into the world to fucking meet your future, you know, wife, your for the ladies, your future husband. What do you think? It's all about you got a career and you're a professional and you're making X amount of dollars a year and that's what life is about? You want to fucking have an empty house to yourself? You want to keep buying shit and making it look nice and whatever, but you don't have the most important thing? Think about it. How many sports cars can you drive? How many sports cars can you buy before it becomes a headache? Okay, so you accomplished that. You build credit, you got investments, you got portfolios, you got it going on. All your dreams came true. Now, what do you have? Nothing because you by yourself. You need somebody to enjoy those moments in life with. That's what life is about. You're on a journey together. It's full of twists and turns and ups and downs and lefts and rights and X's and Y's. That's life. It's in and out. It always is, always and forever, everywhere. Forever and ever and ever and ever. And there's nothing, it's eternal, it's forever. How can you implement this level of dignity, respect, and honor in everything that you do? If right now this was my pitch deck or my proposal or my business plan, would you be ready to do business today? You have to ask yourself that question as the CEO because you're the person that's going to go out into the world creating opportunities for your product and your industry and your trade and your services. Your future depends on you. Your education depends on you. A book that you didn't read is a book that could have helped you. It's a book that you don't have. It's a interesting perspective that you can add to your own repertoire. But every book that you read is essentially planting a seed into your future. You're cultivating the future that you're attracting, you're cultivating it. You want it to be the best. This is available. You know, people can achieve their dreams. How many examples do we need to see? Every single day we're inspired. This CEO decides to take $1 million and invest it in Ethereum. I'm telling my children to invest in Ethereum. It's the truth on both sides. Why would I give you financial advice that I wouldn't take myself? If I'm telling you invest in Bitcoin, it's because I'm invested in Bitcoin. If I tell you invest in Ethereum, it's because I'm invested in Ethereum. You don't have to make decisions financially because of me or how I do them, but it would be smart to take the advice when I've been in business since the 1980s. We're in 2025. That's a lot of discipline. That's a lot of understanding, you know. In time, you're going to grow in life. You're going to create your family. You're going to, you know, want to pursue your dreams. You're going to want to do things differently. And remember that that's all you worked hard for and that's all you were waiting for was the opportunity to finally be able to live like that. What are you going to do now? Where's your happiness? What other things would you like to do? Because now you're in a position where you get to make those decisions. Maturity brings you that. There's different stages and phases of life. Um, there was a person that I was mentoring, and I used the example with Daddy Yankee because in God's own unique way, we're still in communication. Daddy Yankee just released a song about a day ago. The song is all positive, and that's it. It's an amazing thing that I'm still learning as a human being and as an artist, as an entrepreneur, from examples that he has demonstrated to the world throughout his career. What makes me any different? What do you think that those artists didn't have to go through things like that? Every artist goes through these things. Every artist tells you that they go through these things. Some people understand, some people don't. But I'm not just an artist, I'm an entrepreneur. And that right there is the difference. If you're the owner of the company, how are you making decisions? Are you able to switch gears? What if your investors are discontent with the way that you're managing your investment? What do you do then? How do you change your strategy? How do you pivot? How do you juke? How do you adjust? Those are the secrets. That's the real insight. If I'm going to give you mentoring or consultations, it's going to be in this type of format. The difference is it's tailor made for every single person. Now, I also had to set a standard and a limit for myself. I said I'm not doing more than about 100,000 people. That's it. You know, out of 100,000 alumni, a vast majority are billionaires or on their way to becoming billionaires. That tells you everything. I've made education fun. I've made education normal and human. We're able to take a break. We're able to have a conversation. We're able to express every perspective, and we're able to follow principles such as Ray Dalio's principles. We allow the best ideas to win. Everybody does not understand. You know how important that book is? But at the same time, my advice is be mentally prepared to read Ray Dalio's book because it can change your life. It can really change your life forever. We can do an example where we have used it in the past. We've done it in the radio show, we've done it in the podcast. But it just goes to show you this is the gift that continues to give. This is what an education um, basically does as far as determining a difference in your life. This is what an education does. And people that don't have an education, that didn't invest the time in themselves to go get an education, you know, they will never understand. But guess what? Everybody has the potential. All you need to do is read a book. You know, if you could read one book, read one book. If you could read two books, read two. You know, there's no right and wrong. Read every day, learn every day, write every day, study every day, research every day. If you have technology at your disposal, use it. There's a lot of information on the internet for you to do anything that your heart and your mind desires. Just decide what it is that you want to do. What's going to be your career? How much money you want to make? Where do you want to travel? Where you want to live? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Where do you want to go shopping? Where do you want to go eat? Where you want to go travel to? Whatever your dreams are, you get to select and choose because you've already put in the hard work to become a professional. And it doesn't mean that you have to graduate from an educational institution. Sometimes you have to educate yourself. I had to educate myself, but I started in a community college, but I still graduated Pepperdine status. Why? Because I was willing to bust my ass because it meant something to me. Where I come from, it meant something to graduate from those places. And no, I couldn't be walking through campus being ghetto as the fuck. Everybody didn't have to know, yo, I'm from here, I'm from the none of that. I was there for my education. I was there early, I left late. I was there every single day. I went to summer school. I went to fucking um you know how you get like a few days to make a few shit, that you need to make up for before spring break. Like I did everything. I did the extra credit. I busted my ass to be where I am, just to know that I'm learning more. The people that you may be trying to impress don't understand all of the hard work that it really takes for you to have your success. You have to be able to block that and ignore that and continue focused on what it is truly that you want to do with your life. Now, when people go back and listen to this, they'll understand, damn, imagine if I made that phone call and I paid that $500,000 plus to understand. This is just an example. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. But you have to have a balance in life. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Daddy Yankee has found balance in his life. I could use him as an example. Been there and done that. Evie Queen, she has balance in her life. Look at her now. Yo, she's still doing it 2025. Yo, she's the real deal. Those are real artists. Those are real entrepreneurs. Those people really educated themselves. They really worked hard. A lot of people shitted on them. A lot of people turned their backs on them. A lot of people try to close doors and they just stay consistent. That's me doing music, 8,000 songs. Keep going. This is the beginning. New album on the way, right? Now people start to understand what an education does. How can you apply that to a product and a service? How can we tell that story in one of our releases? Whether it's an interactive NFT or it's a, unlockable NFT. Who knows? There's many different versions. How can we express that artistically, creatively, graphically when we're designing our marketing campaign? Go look at the top 20 or top 24 reviews on the Ferrari F80 and just notice the demographics, how they marketed that campaign. Because you know that to get to every one of those channels costs a lot of money. And that's just on one application. So there have to be multiple budgets per division of distribution, meaning the apps that are used. That's the only thing that will make sense. So, of course, they know exactly how much to invest in order to be able to sell as many vehicles as they possibly can. Now, when you're selling anything digital, it's the same it's the same challenge no matter, if I make the next George Foreman grill or the next Keurig, it's still the same access system for distribution. That's exactly how it works. It's the same thing. So, how can you implement that for your investments? How can you present that to your board trust of directors in the investment, in the company, in the division that creates the products or service, and explain that you have to stay on budget, that you have to stay focused, that you have a deadline that you have to meet? But life is throwing all these challenges at you all the time. You need somebody that understands exactly what you're going through because they've been through similar situations and they can give you an unlimited amount of examples because my perspective is unique to me. My experience, my discipline is unique to me. The piece of advice that I can give you, nobody else can give you. It's very simple. When you explain it to people in that sense, people are able to understand. So, this is the reality of the circumstances that we are in as we speak. Technology is everything. We need to educate ourselves. We have to create the best future that we possibly can create. And that begins now, whether it's to get a higher education, whether it's to make an investment, to start a business, investing in yourself. What goals do you have personally for yourself that you can use as your inspiration, as your motivation? Again, who are your heroes? Read the books that they've read, do the things that they've done, follow in the same footsteps. Every single day, I have to give the best that I have able to give. Every single day. That's how success is made. That's how the West was won. That's the true secret. The harder you work, the luckier you're going to get. The more and the better, higher quality of life that you're going to live. You're going to understand as time progresses. What you put into your future is what you're going to get out of it. I've spent my entire life educating myself, learning this technology, dominating this technology, mastering this technology. To be swayed as far as what my opinion or what my perspective is based on what I hear in the markets or what my family members or my friends could say. And I don't mean the friends that are like family. Those are different, right? And I don't mean family that doesn't deserve to be family. I'm just giving you an example, right? So, how can one business decision lead to a comeback, lead to a better alternative, lead to a better place, lead to a better product, better service? What is the core fundamental value, belief of that system, of that business? Who are the people that develop the company, the franchise, or the structure? As a video game consumer, I'm a super duper veteran. As a video game developer, is less than a few decades. So even studying original systems is only inspiration. Why? Because my favorite super sports car of all time has a chip that my fucking video game system had at home. To me, that's amazing shit. Like that shit fascinated me. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can pull up a quick module here. We're going to do motherboard level repair. Give me one quick second. This is maybe a better way for me to explain it, where with time, it's only going to get better. Give me one quick second. What it really meant to be able to weld very well. Like that shit is an art. When you're dealing with precious metals like that, you got to be fucking nice. I fucking wish I could build a whole fucking frame for the car like that. Crazy? That shit would be beautiful. Okay. Go on YouTube and in your search bar type in Louis Rossman. Louis space R O. There we go. Louis Rossman. Boom. When you find his channel, remember, go directly to the channel because, business models change over time. These are my boys right here. These are some of my friends for a long time. I shorts. Uh Yo, hold on. I gotta put one of the long ones because if I put one of the short ones, you guys won't appreciate it. Give it a second to load and we'll continue with theory. But I've done my best to give you guys some insights. Let's listen in.
So this is a 2010 model MacBook Pro. This is a model. Well, if you actually
Give me one quick
do a
second.
Google
Let me
search, you
fix
won't.
this.
All right, so today we're going to be going over a machine that's having some graphical issues. So this is a 2010 model MacBook Pro. This is a model that if you actually do a Google search, you won't find it if you just go to apple.com. But if you Google search, you will find a support.apple.com article on these machines being covered for a certain graphics issue. Now, the 2011 is famous for graphics issues. The 2008, 7 one's famous for graphics issues. 2010 isn't famous for a graphics issue, but it does indeed have one.
And I can show you here. Here we go. Intermittent black screen or loss of video quality program. So this is for this model, which uses an 820-2850 motherboard. Now, I'm going to link over here to a video where I go over a very, very similar on a different machine. If you follow the channel regularly, you may be familiar with an older machine where there was an issue with a capacitor on a buck converter. The idea with this buck converter is it turns 12.6 volts into somewhere around 1.05 volts. And when you have an issue with this capacitor, it will drop the voltage. And I was talking about this in a video on recycling and refurbishing and heating things, and talking about how warranty service centers, rather than often try to find the problem, what they'll do is they'll just shove the board in an oven and it works again. And I did a demonstration with the iron where I tried heating up that capacitor, and you saw the voltage jump from 0.3 volts to 1.05 volts. It was obviously the capacitor. And
the capacitor. That's a good way to test it.
Of what that circuit looked like over here. So we're just going to open the board that has that very, very, very common flaw. And if we look for that board, the capacitor that was heated is right down here. So let's just get this on the screen. So this is
with the schematics.
A buck converter that's going to turn 1.05 volts into, this is going to turn 12 volts into 1.05 volts. You have buck controller IC, you have your two transistors, you have your coil, and then after that you have a 330 microfarad polytantalum capacitor to ground. This is going to be the battery, so to speak. Now, if we go over to this board, you're going to notice that we have a very, very similar circuit around the graphics area. So if we look in this board and we go over to the graphics area, you're going to see that we have almost the same thing. We have the buck controller IC, we have the 12.6 volts, we have the two transistors, except here those two transistors are in one discrete package. And after that, we have the coil, and then we have, what do you know, a 330 microfarad cap. So here you have the coil, 1.5 microhenries, and over here you have 2.2 microhenries, but mainly you still have that same polytant cap. And over here, that is going to the graphics rail. That's going to the frame buffer. So if I were to look and just bring this up on the board view software, you have a bit of a better idea of what it is that I'm discussing with you. So let's just bring this up on the board view software. And if I bring it up on here, maybe it'll make a little more sense. So that's going to be this little capacitor over here. And if we try finding this area, what I can do is I can make it so that it will show up everywhere that this goes to. So this capacitor is before a current sensing resistor. We go to a current sensing resistor. And from here, you can see that this shows up on the graphics chip as well as showing up on the video memory. So this power line not only goes to the graphics chip, it also powers the video memory. And the reason this is important is we have the exact same circuit. Now, this is not as prevalent an issue as it was with the 2008, 2009 models. It is an issue that is less prevalent because this circuit is only working when the computer is on. In the older models, well, it was a much more catastrophic failure since it was on a power line required for the computer to even turn on. Here, it's only on a power line required for graphics. But secondly, it used to be on an S5 power line, which would mean that that power line was always on. Even if your battery in the computer is dead, that power line would be on. Because even if the battery goes below the voltage required to turn on, it's still enough to turn 12 or 11 into 1. And here, this is on an SO rail, meaning that that rail is only being utilized when the computer itself is on in an SO state. Now, this is an issue that was not figured out by Apple. For the longest time, Apple had no idea why this board was failing. So if you had this board replaced under their program, they would give you back a board that did the exact same thing again. And this is something that drove a lot of independent repair technicians
changed the game, man.
Absolutely batshit crazy out of their minds for the longest period of time. And what you had a lot of people heating the graphics chip in order to make it work again. And the sad part is that it often would make it work again, and I want to explain why. Now, in the video that I did on the tantalum capacitor, I showed you
that's the tantalum capacitor.
In the annotation here, and if I forget to, please yell at me. What I did is I showed you it was dead, and then I isolated. I didn't heat the big chip that it was powering. I isolated it. I only heated the capacitor and nothing else, and you saw that it worked beautifully again. That's because the capacitor was bad. So what people are doing is they're often heating the graphics chip, which is going to be up here. And while they're doing that, they're preheating the entire board, and this heat is going to move over a little bit over here. So this is the graphics chip, And then you have the capacitor over here. So when they heat the graphics chip, they're actually heating the capacitor, and heating the capacitor, they're making it work
Oh,
again. And it took a
oh,
long time for somebody
understand.
to finally
Okay, it
figure out
was
that
it
there was a
was
pattern.
overheating. Okay,
I'm
that
not
makes
going to
sense.
take credit for finding this as a pattern. Duke in the Netherlands, who, by the way, is one of the individuals who's
My
answering
boy
questions
Duke in
on
the
the page on the
Netherlands,
Board
baby.
Repair Forum that I linked to, and all of these
We got
video
concerts out
cards,
there.
annotations, and whatnot. He's one of the engineers that I have answered questions. He's the one that thought that, along with everybody else, these boards were just crap, and looked at it one day and is like, that looks familiar. I'm used to replacing that same thing over and over and over again. And the reason I bring this up is because it's something that I want people to think about. So you have all this entire concept that the independent repair centers are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They're not qualified. They're not this. They're not that. Why work with them? What's the benefit? And here, this is a case of independent service centers. Again, a guy working out of his garage. And a guy working out of his garage doing this, refurbishing as his hobby just to keep his head straight. Again, he's not somebody who needs money. Like, he'll work for money to make money, but he's not somebody where if he didn't work for 6 months, I'm on the street. Somebody who's just doing this just to keep his head in order and exercise his brain was able to figure this out in his garage before a large multi-billion-dollar company with multi-billion-dollar engineering department. And the reason I bring this up is that even with the industry the way it is right now, even with this really, really, really anti-repair culture, and even with this whole hiding the information thing, you still have individuals who are genuinely willing and able to figure this stuff out for the betterment of the stuff. Because how many people received back a motherboard that was just as bad as the original, right? How many people received back a board from that program and actually waited 2 or 3 weeks to get the $2,000 or $3,000 device fixed, only for it to fail in the same fashion during a live filming or a live
just because they didn't understand what was going on. It was pretty much like shorting itself out.
It's just sad. And if we work together a little bit more, rather than just have this whole these guys are not qualified, I don't want to work with them, blah blah blah. Just imagine how much more productive this would be. Imagine how much better it would be for the end consumer. Because it's the same idea with open source software. Except the difference is that when you give me the software, you're not giving me all the information as to where everything is interconnected and whatnot. But when you give me the board, the schematic is just a convenience. The board itself is literally going to tell me everything I need to know, what is connected to what. I can figure that out. So it's not even, because I had somebody bring that up, isn't this like asking them to give away source code? It's not, because again, the source code for an operating system, I can't get a $20 tool and then just start measuring and write out all the source code for the operating system. So guys, what do you think about this? This is an issue that was not solved for years and years, and a lot of consumers really got screwed over with this. Just how much sooner could these issues be solved if we work together as a community? And I don't even mean just with laptops and cell phones. I mean in general. Maybe I'm asking a little too much. What do you guys think?
Absolutely
so what I'm
right.
do over here is I'm gonna
Now you see, these are the people that I'm growing up with. I'm studying this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to school. This is how I started. Yeah, I think it's easy.
Bigger. So what I have to do over here is make.
I had to humble myself. Like, listen, I got to teach myself.
So this over here is the
He's so nice right now. I'm not even going to tell you how nice he is. He is extremely nice.
Scrape away until I can fit a standard capacitor over here. And I want to see if I can turn it on and boot into the OS without a kernel panic. So the issues would manifest themselves on this board with the screen going black or a kernel panic. And the kernel panic is always going to be something related to graphics. Yeah, people will think that the issue is the chip, but the real issue is this power rail is fluctuating in voltage. And it's not as catastrophic as with the older ones. Again, the older models, they don't have the same issue. They have the issue with the MCP. And if the MCP doesn't turn on, then it's, you're just screwed. So we're just going to scrape away over here. We're going to keep scraping until we get a nice base. And we can just extend our solder pad out so that we can put a regular capacitor in there. And we're just going to keep scraping. Keep scraping away. This is not a soldering iron tip that I really use a lot, so I'm okay with scraping with it. It's not a nice, particularly nice thing. So we're just gonna scrape and scrape. All right, so that's good enough for me. All right, so we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna solder to that. I could probably scrape a little bit more. I have this set of tweezers is pretty destroyed, so I'm okay demoting them to scrape duty. Yeah, this scrapes much better. I don't usually use tweezers for all the scraping because they're good tweezers, but this set of tweezers is particularly destroyed, so there's no loss here. So we're just gonna scrape away a pad. Probably shouldn't be doing this after I put the flux down. Yeah, I should clean that. After I finish extending it out, so you just extend this out. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with who I found to do the support on the forum. That's the thing, you may not always like the exact manner in which Duke will give you an answer. I can tell you right now that you're probably not always going to like the manner in which he gives you an answer. But what he does do is he does give you an answer. He's strict and stern. If he asks you for a certain thing, I want you to measure this, or I want you to do that, you have to do what he tells you. You know, if he says plug in a USB mouse and tell me what you get, you can't plug in a USB microphone and tell him what you get. He's very particular for very good reasons. He's trying to troubleshoot a board over the internet. But and I'm a bit the same way. I don't have a ridiculous amount of patience for certain things. We honestly we both. It's a really odd. It's kind of an odd relationship to have going back and forth. Like usually you'll have the engineer and the people person, and it's like we just have the engineer and the inpatient jackass tech. We don't have a people person. Oh my god! I can just imagine how many people.
I'm the engineer, of course.
They don't like one of us or the other. But what I can say, and what I am proud of, is that we have created one of the definitive places online to get answers to this. It made it fairly affordable, $29 a month. I would have killed when I was learning this to pay $29 a month and have somebody answer every single stupid question that I had. I wouldn't have cared how they gave me the answer, let me tell you. You call me an idiot, a dumbass, monkey. I just said, thank you for the answer. All right, so now we're going to take off a cap and get it on there. I just took the nozzle off of the JBC. It's going to make it a little bit easier to get a cap on here. We're going to take a 330 microfarad today. Same value, but again, we're going to take one that is not a tantalum. We're going to take a standard one, standard film. We're going to fit it right in that space over there, and then we're going to boot it up and see if we get a boot up or if we get a kernel clearance. Okay, we got some flux. See, this capacitor is now going to fit since we extended the size of that pad over there. Since the pad has an extended size, we can just start heating. And don't get me wrong, it's going to look funny. It's going to look really funny. But it's going to fit. Did I say it was going to look funny or what?
Well, still did a good job. Still very good job. Fixed it right there on that side a little bit.
Okay,
It was all right,
clean it
but
up a little good.
He still did
Give it a
good.
tap test. Make sure it's nice and flat on there. It doesn't move around. All right, so now that that's placed, we're going to check it out and see if it will boot into an operating system. And it's my hope that this will boot into an operating system and that it won't kernel panic along the way. Right now, it kernel panics constantly. It's so cute. You can't see it from there, but it's adorable. Nice little non-tantalum capacitor. The thing that kills me with Apple is this happened in the 2008 machine, happened in the 2009 machine. Can you learn your lesson? Can you learn your lesson? I mean, like I do some stupid stuff, but I try to learn my lesson, particularly a couple of years into it. Because, I mean, the failure rates on those 2008 9 machines had to have been catastrophic. They had to have been something else. Because, I mean, I see how many of them walk in here with that issue. It is the same thing every time. And that's why temperature has an effect on it. For some people, it'll work if it stays running for a while. If they keep it running for a while, they'll try over and over again. And the reason is once you heat that capacitor up, as I did in the older video, once you heat the capacitor up, it's good. But once it cools down, it stops being good. And obviously, you will eventually get to a point where even if you heat the capacitor, it won't work. But it's not the chip. It's not the chip. Even Duke had said he had tried chips for a while. That's the thing. We all don't know what we're doing until we know what we're doing. And we're all kind of wandering around in the dark when it comes to fixing flaws like this. Even Apple. Just look at how many of these they fixed and look at how many stopped working again very, very soon after. And you'll see. But if we wander around in the dark together, that's what will make us strong. All right, we're just going to connect most of the stuff here. I'm not going to screw it in yet because I would like to clean the flux and all that shit off the board. I'm just going to connect enough that it'll turn on, chime. Alrighty. Yeah, this is from Apple Store. Multiple kernel panics apparent in console related to graphics processor. Graphics processor may be failing, requiring logic board replacement. By the way, you guys are going to say that I'm full of it, right? You guys are going to say that I make this up, that Apple doesn't know what they're doing. Let's check it out. All right, so let's Apple Store, Pot of Mac, Genius Bar. Problem description, customer states machine will intermittently shut off during use. Let's see. Multiple kernel panics. Graphics processor may be failing, requiring logic board replacement. Graphics processor.
Wrong.
Again, this isn't even recycling.
Wrong diagnosis.
Stuff at this point.
How many people got that right on the exam? We will see. How many people got that right?
Okay. We're turned on. And it looks like it was in sleep mode.
I used to build them shits all the time. My music, I would fucking crash Pro Tools with that shit.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually boot up into the Apple Service Diagnostic Test, and I'm going to let it run. I'm going to let the graphics test run so that you can see that this has indeed fixed our problem. All right, so now I'm going to boot into the Apple Service Diagnostic Test. So I have an external drive that's going to have all this stuff. This one uses 3S138 since it's an 820-2850 motherboard. So we're going to turn this around, and who am I kidding? You can't see that. All right, so let's get some KC Neistat filmography going here. Okay, here we go. This is next to its Genius Bar work authorization. Genius Bar. So we're going to hit OK. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. All right, so
It's booted.
I can't see anything in this viewfinder because of glare. Hopefully you're getting the computer and not just a view of my crotch. That would not be.
Stupid.
That's not what people want to see. So we do video control.
You got to turn it to the side. You can't see it like that.
Continue on error, and we hit start testing. And now we wait and see if it passes the test for the video controller. So with any luck, it's going to pass the test for the video controller. Let's do this.
Success.
And it's testing. It's testing. It's
Oh,
testing.
no. Still testing. We build the prototype. That's how we do the test. And same thing. Got to benchmark it.
Just turn the camera on face focus.
Bench test it in the simulator before you go into manufacturing, you know?
There's no face here. As you can see, we're continuing to pass every single test.
Good.
Not only was there no kernel panic on boot, but it's passing every single test, like bam. It's nice polygons and shapes and
Polygon. Beautiful design. I would use it for a sports car. Sports car.
This
Way
is the
better.
really boring part. There's no fun in just watching this go by.
Sports car.
Usually I don't do the full testing. I leave this to the rest of the staff, but for obvious reasons, it's important that I show this part working.
Still going. All the data points that the vehicle collects on the racetrack, we pour into the civilian application vehicle, which is the vehicle you can go to a dealership and purchase, basically. The prototypes are my specialty, so these data points are important, especially when you're engineering, you're designing, you're improving systems, you're building, better things, better format. Let me see. Okay, not bad. So we'll come back to that. And there's a lot of like controversial political stuff. I can't put that because let me see, is that the same one? All right, 1 second. 17. Oh no, actually, yeah, that could probably be the same one. Hold on. All right, well, that was a good example right there. And we are in perfect time. So tune right back in. We shall continue. Um, I wanted to leave you guys with more theory, but we'll be right back. So go grab yourself something to eat, go chill, stretch, relax, work out, and then come right back. We'll see you right away. God bless. Peace out.